Hello wonderful universe, it's Jennifer here at Eureka Astrology and Healing, and today we are going to be talking about the Virgo new moon. The Virgo new moon is on August 27th, 2022 at 3:17 a.m. And what can I say, just listen to the sounds of the crickets and the birds are singing. Right now it is the beginning of August and we are heading towards the middle of August, and by the time this video comes out we are going to be in the earth element. In traditional Chinese medicine, the earth element is only a few weeks long throughout the whole year, and it's about rest and this kind of quietness, and I can feel it. It's a little early for it right now, but the birds aren't singing as much, the bees aren't buzzing as much, things are just kind of calmer, and I feel like this is going to be very important for this new moon, as you'll see it getting interwoven, because that is actually going to be during the time of the earth element for, I should say, the northern hemisphere. But let's talk about some notable astro points before we get into the aspects and the larger story. Because this is just a snippet in time, I kind of want to talk about things that have happened just a little bit before, just to kind of give us a mindset of the energies that are bringing us there. And so one thing that I'd like to point out is that Uranus goes retrograde on the 24th, just a few days before the new moon. And what this can really mean is things going inward, right, on a larger scale. But why I wanted to bring it up is it's all 5 outer planets are retrograde now. And that's a very collective thing, a social and collective thing. And I feel like people are going to be starting to pull in and trying to reassess things and just kind of work internally. It doesn't mean we're still not going out in the world, but there's going to be a little bit of withdrawnness. Potentially, in a personal life, even in, the larger scale world, just people want to pull back and not be so out there. But don't worry, things will eventually pick up, but not yet. There's more retrogrades to come. The other notable is that Mars moves into Gemini on the 20th. So Mars was in Taurus, there was a lot of activity, as everyone knows, the Uranus-Mars North Node conjunction, dynamic energies, but also Mars is slowed down there. You have to remember that. It has stamina, but it's slowed down. Once Mars hits Gemini, which is an air sign, it's off and running. So I'll need for more communication and more information, fast talking, and maybe even a little bit of aggressive communication, let's put it that way. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's clear and direct and not aggressive, but if Mars gets really worked up, sometimes it happens. Also then on the 25th, Mercury shifts into Libra. So there's a lot of shifts, if you can tell, just right before this new moon, which is, so it's going to have a new feeling to what's going on. And with Mercury moving into Libra, that's air sign, so it adds again to that wanting to talk, communicate more, be with people, relate to people, also finding beauty and balance. So we'll talk about the aspects because they actually make aspects together, Mars and Mercury, but there's a lot of wanting to communicate and maybe quickly, but at the same time a want for rest with this new moon. So I really thought when I looked at this, it was, I almost said polar opposites, but very opposing energies happening at the same time, which that is life, right? Keeping things in balance. Well, let's talk about the aspects a little more in depth, and as we go we're going to be unraveling a little bit of a story here that I think people might relate to and really enjoy hearing some of the more positive things about it. So the first aspect that I have is that, first of all, think the sun and the moon are in Virgo. Virgo is about discernment and service, and I want to almost say discipline, but it's about the craft, about making things to perfection, because it is the way that this thing will work at its best. It'll serve its best. And so this can be done in solitude. Not that all Virgo energy is of solitude, but it is okay that Virgo energy is okay to go to the side, go into its shop alone, tinkering, hammering, creating. It may be helping other people, serving other people, but that Virgo energy really can take care of stuff on its own. So we have to think about that just as an overall energy, because it's the sun and the moon. So the sun and the moon in Virgo square that Mars and Gemini almost exactly. It does actually square it exactly before they become the new moon. And so what's interesting is the sun and the moon both hit right before they hit Mars before they conjunct each other. And so I feel like as there's this want for solitude, as there's this want of going in and enjoying it, that Mars and Gemini is like, well, here's all this information, and people kind of coming at, maybe there would be a sense of people coming at you or with a lot of information, when really you just want to go and be more discerning with what you're doing and have less information but more quality information, less of the lies and the razzle dazzle, and more of the truth and things that can be built and make things more solid and strong, to build things stronger. So I feel like that is one energy that is a very shifting, pushy pull, that some people may feel a little frazzled. As we know, Mercury rules Virgo, and so having that Mars kind of sizzling it, there could be a lot of overthinking too. Another thing, a lot of overcriticalness on maybe the self or others. It's hard to say, but this could come out verbally as well. That would be another potential for this aspect being a little bit more difficult. And what I want to say as the overall arching theme with this really is that solitude is not a bad thing. It is not a punishment. It is not isolation. It is about being able to enjoy time with yourself and enjoying the energy you have when you by yourself, not serving another or doing other things, being busy with other things. Like I said, that Mars is going to be like, get busy, get doing things. But yet the Virgo, it does like to do work, but this energy is really about pulling in and being focused and intimate. And so, and precision, actually precision, not that scatteredness of Gemini. And so people are going to feel this want, and I think people should act on it. Doesn't mean you have to go shut yourself up forever, but I do think if you can spend a little bit of time, this day at least, on finding a quiet moment and doing something you like, maybe it's knitting or even it's meditating, something that's repetitious and calm, something that makes you feel good about yourself, and like where you feel like you're your own company, and it's like, oh, I enjoy this. You know, it's a privilege and an honor to have this solitude for myself, with myself. And that is what I'm seeing overall for these energies, even though there are other aspects that are going to be asking us to do other things. I think the best thing that we could do to nourish our soul is actually do a little bit of that pulling in. And a good quote that I have from one of the books I have is, without rest, we cannot create. That idea, like I said, that earth element of just stopping for a second and like enjoying the fruits, like it's just there, witnessing it, and just being calm, because once you rest, you can go back out in the world and create things, because you have the energy, you've got insight, you've quieted the chatter and the clatter of all the things that come into your mind and into the world, and just enjoy it, because you are going to feel these energies. There are going to be lots of probably lots of thoughts and information coming at you, so try your best to pull away for a little bit and pull in a positive way, where you get to be your own best friend, so to speak, for a little bit, and be okay with it. It's a luxury. It's not a punishment. And the thing I wanted to say about that, though, too, is don't pull in too far, too long, because all of a sudden you can like being alone, right? Like, I have control, I can do what I want. And as we know, it's an illusion. Nothing happens in a vacuum forever. And so I do urge that if you are getting into that too long, and obviously a day is not that long, but you know, it can linger on. It can give a sense of, a false sense of control, and maybe also like, it's not Leonic, like your needs don't matter, but like it's easier to do what you want to do than have to deal with everybody else, especially if, you know, that with that Virgo energy coming out into the world, feeling you have to serve everybody, and then, well, you know, everything that you want to do just gets pushed to the side because you're serving everybody else. So just try to find the balance. And then let's take a look at some of the other aspects here. And so we do have some harmonious aspects, not specifically to the new moon, but it is with Mercury. Like I said, Mercury just moved into Libra. Lots of, you know, again, talking, hanging out, just socializing and having a good time. You know, it could be of creating beautiful things. It could also just be finding balance within the relationship and fairness within relationships as well, thinking about it, looking for it. And the aspect to this is that Mars is trining it. So this is where I feel like, again, it's that push-pull. Like, The Mars and Gemini is like talk, do, more, look at this, look at that, like a squirrel just, you know, picking up every nut. And it's like, whoa, that nut is moldy, that nut is half broken, that isn't even a nut, what are you doing, squirrel, calm down. And so with Mercury and Libra, it's an air sign, right? Mercury's in there, it's amping it up. It's amping up that energy a little bit. So we're going to have that feeling, I would say, most likely to connect and communicate. So make sure that you do that in a way that you want if it arises. And by that, I would like to think that with that Virgo energy, it's with discernment. If 10 people tell you they want to do something with you within this week and it's too much for you, right? You're feeling overwhelmed and you need a day for yourself. Make sure you set that day for yourself and then pick a day with one person or two people or whatever you're comfortable with and do that. Don't do too much, but you choose the quality relationships and the quality connections, and that's where Virgo can serve you, right? And then another dynamic aspect is, it's not quite so harmonious, is that Venus is in Leo and it squares Uranus, which is retrograde in Taurus, and then Saturn, which is retrograde in Aquarius. And so, as you know, we've been working a lot with that Uranus energy of dynamic change, especially around resources and value. And Saturn too, as well, is coming back to make a final square to Uranus. Not quite exact yet, but there's a little bit of restriction. Venus and Leo, we want to express ourselves. Like, this is a time to put yourself out there and enjoy yourself and have play and fun and just shine. But having those two planets there, there's a little bit more deeper to this story, especially because they're going back, right, reassessing things. And what I really find is that you want to shine, but you may find yourself feeling that your responsibility to joy is not just for yourself, it's for the collective and it's for the earth. That you're here to shine your light, but it's not about selfish reasons, like I'm shining my light because I just want to feel good about myself. It's about, oh no, you have a light to shine, and that makes other things shine. It helps other things. More of a symbiotic. I feel like that's the positive way to work with this energy, instead of feeling like, oh, I'm being told I can't do this or that with my gifts, or people aren't paying attention to me, or I'm not getting what I'm worth. Now, of course, you should always get what you're worth, but I feel like if someone's working with an authentic place of who they are and shining their bright light, that will all follow, and it will, especially if it's in service, as, I mean, for me, serving the divine, but serving, you know, something greater than yourself. You can put it that way. But that is a tense aspect within this day and around this time, so don't get dejected by it. Use your beauty and your light for the greater good. And so to wrap it up, I've got two quotes from Raven Callender's Moon Phase Astrology for this moon, and I really, really like it. So I'm going to read both of them. So I'm going to read both of them just because it gives you a sense of the energy of this moon and this time, especially as we're in Virgo. Try to embrace it, and I think beautiful things will come, because as you rest, you will create, and you will shine your light. So here are the quotes. Solitude is such a potential thing. We hear voices in solitude. We never hear in the hurry and turmoil of life. We receive counsel and comfort. We get under no other condition. And that's from Amelia E. Barr. The other one is, being solitary is being alone well. Being alone luxuriously immersed in doing of your own choice. Awareness of the fullness of your one presence rather than the absence of others. It's okay to be alone. Try to enjoy it. If you like what I'm doing, check out my website, Eureka Astrology and Healing.com. I do consultations for astrology, herbalism, tarot, and I hope you like this video. I hope you found something that resonated, and may you rest and yet have healthy, fun connections. Ciao for now.